I observed and taught classes in July at First Five in Moorpark, California. This was a really fun experience to see the excitement in young learners who just wanted to sponge up knowledge and were in eager anticipation of attending school. Ages ranged from 3 years old to 5 for our class. Our first class was on the food chain. We began with a song to get the students engaged, and then I started with the bigger picture by asking students if they had ever been to the ocean. Then I asked them what they did there, and if they'd seen any animals, and if they knew what used to live in things like seashells. One special moment came when one of the younger boys announced that he had been surfing at the beach recently. I later found out that he was autistic, and that he had never answered a question before. He had been surfing in a special program for autistic children. It really meant a lot to me to be there for that moment, and to be the first one he answered a question to. Bree had a sorting activity following that for seeing what animals did not belong with sea animals. A good example of flexibility came up during Bree's sorting game. At first the small sea animals were all up on the table, and some of the kids you see here crowded around them, making it impossible for the other kids to see what was going on. Then Bree brought the animals down to the carpet so the kids could circle around and everyone could see. This was an important lesson on being aware of all students and making sure each and every one can stay involved. Zachary introduced the food chain next using hand puppets and explained how some animals eat other animals and how it goes down the line. The lesson was cemented in the minds of the kids through a craft where they each got to make their own food chain. They painted a whale eating a fish, eating a jellyfish, and this was all tied together using a string. The kids loved this and really got enthusiastic with the paints. Of course, this was just one of the lessons at First Five, but let's go on to my summary of an interview with a science teacher. When asked the most important characteristic of a science teacher, she replied, flexibility, and understanding that all students are different learners. Some learn better through lecture, while others prefer hands-on techniques. This was something I saw very true at First Five. Scope and sequence for her revolved around the project at hand, so as to best seal the lesson along with teaching appropriate standards. Safety was the biggest issue when it came to classroom management, and having different teaching strategies was used for diversified learners. Student interest was garnered through beginning the lesson with something students were already interested in, such as volcanoes. Finally, assessment for this teacher was done mostly through verbal questions and then written tests. All in all, I learned a lot through the observation and the interview, and it certainly gave me a better idea of what to expect in a classroom. Also, just so you know, all photos at First Five were taken by me with permission from all the parents. Thanks for viewing!